on the Qur'an, and we're on Joseph or Yusuf section, and let's get into it. So ALR, I think that's for Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, or Alif Lam Ra. These are the symbols or verses of the Perseus book. We have sent it down as an Arabic Quran in order that ye may learn wisdom. We do relate unto thee the most beautiful of stories, in that we reveal to thee this portion of the Quran. Before this, thou too was among those who knew it not. Behold, Joseph said to his father, O my father, I did see 11 stars, and the sun and the moon. I saw them prostrate themselves to me. Said the father, My dear little son, relate not thy vision to thy brothers, lest they concoct a plot against thee. For Satan is to a man an avowed enemy. Thus will thy Lord choose thee, and teach thee the interpretation of stories and events, and perfect his favor to thee and to the posterity of Jacob. The prosperity of Jacob, even as he perfected it to thy fathers Abraham and Isaac aforetime. For Allah is full of knowledge and wisdom. Verily, in Joseph and his brethren are signs or symbols for seekers after truth. They said, Truly Joseph and his brother are loved more by our father than we. But we are goodly body. Really, our father is obviously wandering in his mind. Slay ye Joseph, or cast him out to some unknown land, that so the favor of your father may be given to you alone. There will be time enough for you to be righteous after that. Said one of them, Slay not Joseph, but ye must do something. Throw him down to the bottom of the well. He will be picked up by some caravan of travelers. They said, Our father, why dost thou not trust us with Joseph, seeing we are indeed his sincere well-wishers? Send him with us tomorrow to enjoy himself and play, and we shall take every care of him. Jacob said, Really, it saddens me that ye should take him away. I fear lest the wolf should devour him while ye attend not to him. They said, If the wolf were to devour him while we are so large a party, then should we indeed first have perished ourselves. So they did take him away, and they all agreed to throw him down the bottom of the well. And we put into his heart this message, Of a surety thou shalt one day tell them the truth of this their affair while they know thee not. Then they came to their father in the early part of the night, weeping. They said, O our father, we went racing with one another and left Joseph with our things, and the wolf devoured him. But thou wilt never believe us, even though we tell the truth. So, is there the Joseph's coat of many colors? That's not a thing in the Quran, family. So I don't know if is that just something that the Christians have with the Bible, that Joseph had a very special coat, and that the brothers got jealous because he learned to read and write Egyptian, and he didn't have to do labor work, and he had a lot of dreams in the biblical version. They were very detailed. So I wonder if you guys have the same thing. I think we're going to find out anyways, but I'd be very curious to see what you think. They stained his shirt with false blood. He said, Nay, but your minds have made up a tale that may pass with you. For me, patience is most fitting against that which ye assert. It is Allah alone whose help can be sought. Then there came a caravan of travelers. They sent their water carrier for water, and he let down his bucket into the well. He said, Ah, there, good news, here is a fine young man. So they concealed him as a treasure. But Allah knoweth well all that they do. The brethren sold him for a miserable price, for a few dirhams counted out, and such low estimation did they hold him. The man in Egypt who bought him said to his wife, Make his stay among us honorable. May he bring us much good, or we shall adopt him as son. Thus did we establish Joseph in the land, that we might teach him the interpretation of stories and events. And Allah hath full power and control over his affairs, but most among mankind know it not. When Joseph attained his full manhood, we gave him power and knowledge. Thus do we reward those who do right. hope it tells the story about Potiphar's wife and how she wanted Joseph. But she, in whose house he was, sought to seduce him from his true self. She fastened the doors and said, "Now come, thou dear one." He said, "Allah forbid. Truly thy husband is my Lord. He made my sojourn agreeable. Truly to no good come those who do wrong." And with passion she did desire him, and he would have desired her, but that he saw the evidence of his Lord. Thus did we order that we might turn away from him all evil and shameful deeds. For he was one of our servants, sincere and purified. So they both raced each other to the door, and she tore his shirt from the back. They both found her Lord near the door. She said, "What is the fitting punishment for one who formed an evil design against thy wife, but prison or a grievous chastisement?" Tore his shirt from the back. He said, "It was she that sought to seduce me for my true self, and one of her household saw this and bore witness." That part's not in like that. That would be it. That's a, if you want to compare and contrast. No one bore witness to what she did, Potiphar's wife, to Joseph in the biblical version. It's interesting. If it be that his shirt is rent from the front, then her tale is true, and he is a liar. But if it be that his shirt is torn from the back, then is she the liar, and he is telling the truth. Yes, because okay, they're looking at each other, like, and if he was coming on her, she'd grab it and rip it, slap him. But if he's turning I don't think so, and then she's trying to go, and she's like, "Come back!" She just grabs his shirt, rips it. That's an aggressive lady, man. I would have been, whew. She's lucky she didn't get slapped, like Joseph's "Get off me!" Oh my goodness. Wow. Poor Potiphar, man. So when he saw his shirt that it was torn at the back, her husband said, "Behold, it is a snare of you women, truly. Mighty is your snare. O Joseph, pass this over, O wife, ask forgiveness for thy sin. For truly thou hast been at fault." Ladies said in the city, "The wife of great Aziz is seeking to seduce her slave from his true self. Truly hath he inspired her with violent love. We see she is evidently going astray." The great Aziz, is that Potiphar's name, or is that a title in Arabic? I wonder. When she heard of their malicious talk, she sent for them and prepared a banquet for them. She gave each of them a knife, and she said to Joseph, "Come out before them." When they saw him, they did exalt him, and in their amazement cut their hands. What? They said, "Allah preserve us, no mortal is this. This is none other than a noble angel." Dang! So does that mean Joseph was super hot? I would do that for Habib. Just kidding. She said, there before you is the man about whom ye did blame me. I did seek to seduce him. See, she admits it here. In the Bible, she don't admit it. I did seek to seduce him from his true self, but he did firmly save himself guiltless. Dang, she's in a noble court of the Egyptians, and it's amazing that Potiphar didn't chop her head off. And now, if he doth not my bidding, he shall certainly be cast into prison, and what is more, be of the company of the vilest. He said, "O my lord, the prison is more to my liking than to which they invite me. Unless thou turn away their snare from me, I should in my youthful folly feel inclined towards them and join the ranks of the ignorant." So his Lord hearkened to him in his prayer and turned away from him their snare. Verily he heareth and knoweth all things. Then it occurred to the men, after they had seen the signs, that it was best to imprison him for a time. that it was pest. I don't know if it should say if it's best to imprison him, but it says pest for a time. Now with him there came into the prison 2 young men. Let me see if I can remember from the biblical version. One was a baker, one was a wine merchant. I see myself in a dream pressing wine, said the other. I see myself in a dream carrying bread on my head, and birds are eating thereof. Tell us, they said, the truth and meaning thereof, for we see thou art one that doth good to all. He said, before any food comes in due course to feed either of you, I will surely reveal to you the truth and meaning of this ere it befall you. That is part of the duty which my Lord hath taught me. I have, I assure you, abandoned the ways of the people that believe not in Allah, and that even deny the hereafter. Like, it just went right into it, too. It didn't, it's interesting how, they just went right into, here's Joseph, here's a crazy lady that tried to rip his shirt off and molest him. You know what I mean? Oh, it's funny. It didn't give a lot of, in the Bible version, there's a lot more of, dialogue between Judah and the other brothers so that you really get how jealous they were, right? I wonder if it'll do it more later, because Joseph, the biblical version, was always a very important story for me because I learned a lot from that. I learned a lot from that story. Let's see if this one is the same. And I follow the ways of my fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and never could we attribute any partners whatever to Allah. That comes of the grace of Allah to us and to mankind. Yet most men are not grateful. O my 2 companions of the prison, I ask you, are many lords differing among themselves better, or the one Allah, supreme and irresistible? If not him ye worship nothing but names which ye have named, ye your fathers, for which Allah hath sent down no authority. The command is for none but Allah. He hath commanded that ye worship none but him. That is the right religion, but most men understand not. O my 2 companions of the prison, as to one of you, he will pour out the wine for his Lord to drink. As for the other, he will hang from the cross. Yeah, I remember that part in the Bible version. He tells them, okay, you're going to live and the other one's going to die. And the birds will at from off his head. It just says at. I think they mean eat off of his head. So hath been decreed that matter whereof ye twain do inquire. And of the 2, to that one whom he considered about to be saved, he said, mention me to thy Lord. So I think in the Bible version it says, mention me to Pharaoh, something like that. But Satan made him forget to mention him to his Lord. See? In this version, in the Qur'an version, Satan prevented the mentioning. But in the biblical version, traditionally it's thought, and the not the mythos, but more of the people had said that the Pharaoh was notified, and that's how the Pharaoh came to know about Joseph. And Joseph lingered in a prison a few more years. The king of Egypt said, I do see in a vision 7 fat kine, whom 7 lean ones devour. But I wonder why they use kine. I thought it was a cow, the cows of Egypt, those cows with the funny horns. Whom 7 lean ones devour, and 7 green ears of corn, and 7 others withered. O ye chiefs, expound to me my vision, if it be that ye can interpret visions. I wonder why they use chiefs instead of priests, right? Because I believe Pharaoh asked his priests, his magi, or whatever they were called. Because a chief is a particular word amongst Native American tribes usually. Very tribal, primitive. I don't know if Pharaoh would have because a chief is a leader of a clan, right? He is like a king. So I can't see Pharaoh saying chief to somebody else. That would be someone equal in standing. That's probably just a translator thing, actually, I bet. I bet you if I read a different version, the story of Joseph would be articulated a little bit better. They said, a confused medley medley of dreams, and we are not skilled in the interpretation of dreams. But the man who had been released, one of the two who had been in prison, and who now bethought him after so long a space of time, said, I will tell you the truth of its interpretation. Send ye me therefore. O Joseph, he said, O man of truth, expound to us the dream of 7 fat kine, whom 7 lean ones devour, and of 7 green ears of corn, and 7 others withered, that I may return to the people, and that they may understand. Joseph said, For 7 years shall ye diligently sow, as is your wont. And the harvest that ye reap ye shall leave them in the year, except a little, of which ye shall eat. Then will come after that period 7 dreadful years, which will devour what ye shall have laid by in advance for them, all except a little which ye shall have specially guarded. Then will come after that period a year in which the people will have abundant water, and in which they will press wine and oil. And here it gets really specific about abundant water and that they press wine. So the king said, Bring ye him unto me. But when the messenger came to him, Joseph said, Go thou back to thy lord and ask him, What is the state of the mind of the ladies who cut their hands? For my lord is certainly well aware of their snare. Well, that's totally interesting. So he's asking, like, what of the ladies who, like, does he mean the snare of lust? Does that what he means? The king said to the ladies, What was your fare when ye did seek to seduce Joseph from his true self? The ladies said, Allah preserve us. No evil know we against him. Said the Aziz's wife, Now is the truth manifest to all. It was I who sought to seduce him from his true self. He is indeed of those who are ever true and virtuous. This say I, in order that he may know that I have never been false to him in his absence, and that Allah will never guide the snare of the false ones. Very interesting. Nor do I absolve my own self of blame. The human soul is certainly prone to evil. Wow, she's really like, I don't want to say self-deprecating, but she's openly admitting, like, more than once her own faults, right? That's crazy. Unless my Lord do bestow his mercy, but surely my Lord is oft forgiving, most merciful. So the king said, so this translators used king and chief now. Why don't they just say Pharaoh? Should say Pharaoh. Bring him unto me. I will take him specially to serve about my own person. Therefore, when he had spoken to him, he said, Be assured this day thou art before our own presence, with rank firm established and fidelity fully proved. Joseph said, Set me over the storehouses of the land. I will indeed guard them, as one that knows their importance. Thus did we give established power to Joseph in the land to take possession therein as when or where he pleased. We bestow of our mercy on whom we please, and we suffer not to be lost the reward of those who do good. But verily the reward of the hereafter is the best, for those who believe and are constant in righteousness. Then came Joseph's brethren, they entered his presence, and he knew them, but they knew him not. Oh yeah, I know this part. Here comes the brothers when they want to come get grain. They traveled all the way to Egypt to get grain because there was the famine at that time. And they didn't know that, they didn't know it was Joseph, but Joseph recognized them. I wonder if he's going to do the cup challenge to them. And when he had furnished them forth with provisions suitable for them, he aid, Bring unto me a brother ye have, of the same father as yourselves, but a different mother. Oh, see, in this version, it specifies different mother. See ye not that I pay out full measure, and that I do provide the best hospitality? Now if ye bring him not to me, ye shall have no measure of corn from me, nor shall ye even come near me. They said, We shall certainly seek to get our wish about him from his father. Indeed we shall do it. And Joseph told his servants to put their stock in trade, with which they had bartered into their saddlebags, so they should know it when they return to their people in order that they might come back. Now, when they returned to their father, they said, "O our father, no more measure of grain shall we get unless we take our brother. So send our brother with us, that we may get our measure, and we will indeed take every care of him." Okay, I'll cut it off at the 20-minute mark. That way the next one doesn't freeze. Okay, family? Joseph! Legend, right? Total legend. Like, anyone who doesn't know the story of Joseph, I don't even know what planet you've been on. Right, family?